Well, good evening. We want to welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And I tell you, we're so excited to be sharing with you guys on this evening. I tell you, all week long, we've just been in anticipation for tonight. This episode has been phenomenal. People have been talking about this change and the shift of this particular episode. And I tell you, it's just been wonderful. We've been talking about how to get what you want by what you say. And I tell you, the things that we shared on last week, we'll do a recap in a few moments. But what we shared on last week and what we'll share again on this evening is just outstanding. Also, we're excited to announce that we will be sharing with you guys ingredients that we are using, and will use to increase our lives and our marriage for our family. And so we wanted to share with you guys so that you can also be a partaker of it. A lot of things we've heard and we've experienced ourselves, the fact that there aren't a lot of readily accessible tools to use to, especially for the blended family, to advance your family and your life to that next level and that next dimension. And so we just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that we picked up along the way to take us from glory to glory. And I tell you, it's just been phenomenal, the tools that we've gathered. We got some things that we've had for 20 plus years, some things that we've gotten just a couple of weeks and a couple of months ago. And so we're going to be sharing with you guys those tools. We're going to be making a lot of them available to you. As you tune in, we're going to be selecting individuals who we want to be a blessing to. And if we call your name, the way you can obtain that is email us at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com. Give us your contact information, and we'll be more than happy to make sure that you get those tools. So we're just excited. I tell you, it's just been phenomenal what God has been doing through In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And so we want to go ahead and get right into this. Real quickly, we're going to give a recap of last week's lesson.
I'm going to read the statistics first from last week. Your parents' marital status has a major influence on the success and or failure of your marriage.
Now listen, that first stat is paramount to understand. Your parents' marital status has a major influence on the success and or failure of your marriage. A lot of times we have the tendency, or we're prone to repeat a matter. And what we're finding out is that a lot of us repeat what we've seen in the household. If your parents don't have a successful relationship, you won't have a successful relationship. If your parents do have a successful relationship, 9 times out of 10, you'll have a successful relationship. Why? Because more is caught than taught. Let me say that again. I got that from my pastor, Dr. Mike Freeman. More is caught than taught. What do you mean? We've heard this even growing up. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Well, in actuality, you're going to do what they do. You're not going to really do what they say. And so what we found out is a lot of us have experienced things in life that are the exact same things our parents went through. Broken marriages, broken homes, bad relationships, poor finances, bad health. The list goes on and on. Can't keep a job, alcoholic, drug addiction, all these different things. And so we want to share these statistics to make you aware. A lot of times we're doing things because we're really not aware of what we're going into. And so we're sharing these statistics with you not to be a downer, but to be an upper. To say, you know what, regardless of what they say, this is what I say. Regardless of what they're saying, this is what I'm going to live out, and this is what I'm experiencing. And so understand something. Don't think that you're not prone to repeat what your parents went through. If you don't make the necessary adjustments, if you don't make the necessary tweaks, get the necessary tools in order to receive better, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have the same thing. What's our next statistic?
About 67 to 80% of second marriages end in divorce.
Wow. We're talking about blended families. A lot of blended families are second marriages. Some are third marriages. Some are even fourth and fifth. We know some. And so understand, about 67 to 80% of second marriages, this is what they're saying, guys. They're saying they end in divorce. Well, we believe that, we declare war on divorce. And so we don't believe in divorce, although this is our second marriage. We didn't believe in the divorce. There were some things that we just had to move on from. But we still declare war on divorce. And so while I was married 3 years and you was married 5, together, between the both of us together, now we've been married going on 20 years. And so it's clear to see that we've declared war on divorce. We've learned from what we've gone through and what we've experienced. We've made the necessary adjustments, and now we're living the life that we wanted to live even back then. What's the last one?
In second marriages, 2 out of 3 marriages will make it to their 10th anniversary, but only 1 out of 3 marriages will make it to their 25th anniversary.
Wow, that's startling. But guess what? That's all it is, a statistic. We don't have to participate in that statistic. And so we want to share it with you so that now you got something to gauge yourself off of. If you've been married between 0 and 10 years, guess what? Now you got something to strive for. If you've been married between 10 and 25, you got something to strive for. We're all striving until death do us part. But we want to give you something to work on the in between, the meantime, in between time. To say, you know what? I overcame that hurdle. I overcame that hump. Now I'm going into that next phase. And so again, we're just excited. Listen, take these statistics. Make sure that you're looking at them, that you put them before you, and you're always telling yourself, that's not going to be me. So, sweetheart, let's give a recap of last week's episode.
Well, we read Proverbs 18, verse 20 to 21. We were talking about experiencing in your family is a byproduct of what you're saying out of your mouth. And we coupled that with Hebrews 11 and 3.
Now, stop right there. Proverbs 18, 20 and 21. Many of you guys heard it. Many of you know it. But we're going to give it to you.
Oh, wait, I got to get it.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and them that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. That's Proverbs 18, 20, 21. But we're going to get the full scripture for you in just 1 second.
Proverbs
18, 20, 21. Right there.
20 and 21. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
A man's belly, your life is going to be filled by what you say. If you're constantly speaking negative, if you're constantly speaking defeat, if you're constantly speaking, you don't know how things are going to work out, you don't know how you're going to pay this, or you don't know how you're going to do that, then guess what? That's what your life is going to be filled with. But when you begin to channel your words, regardless of what things look like, regardless of how they feel, when you begin to channel your words correctly, then you begin to see your life change. Your life only is going to, I don't care how many things you try to do, if you don't speak correctly, you're not going to live correctly. Let me say that again. If you're not speaking correctly, you're not going to live correctly. And so it says, a man's what?
A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled.
Stop there. Listen, if you're not satisfied with your life, maybe you need to check what you're saying. It says a man's belly should be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth. So if your life isn't satisfying, if you're not satisfied with your finances, if you're not satisfied with your romance, if you're not satisfied with your health, if you're not satisfied with the status quo which you've been living, then guess what? It may be, just maybe, is because what you're saying, you're filling your life with. And then what else it says?
Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And so we talked about that, and we'll pick that up again a little bit later. But I just want to share that part with you.
We read Hebrews 11:3.
And we read Hebrews 11:3. So we're giving you guys some scripture. We're giving you some truths that you can go to on a daily basis and say, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm sticking with Proverbs 18, 20, and 21. Let me make sure I'm sticking with Hebrews 11:3. These are scriptures that you're going to have to daily eat upon. You have to daily feed yourself, because guess what? They're nutrients. They're nutritional. They have value to build you up, to build strong. Like you say about milk, build strong bones. Well, guess what? You want to build strong bones in your blended family? These are the scriptures that you're going to need to be drinking on in order to get that success. What's the next point, sweetie?
What you say has a taste and a fruit attached to it. So be watchful of the things you say. We kind of talked about that. The reason why a lot of people are sick, marriage problems, disorders, is because of what they're eating from their mouth. You'll never experience the favor that you were intended to experience without first understanding what your wife brings to the table, relationship, marriage.
And so watch this. That was a nugget for the men. But we got another nugget for women coming up. That was a nugget for the men. Men, listen, you can't receive or walk in the favor that you were intended to if you're tearing down your favorite piece. Let me say that again. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what she does. I don't care how she acts. You have to be careful of what you're saying. There are going to be some things that come along that are going to make you want to say some stuff that you really can't say. Why? Because it's going to slow down the process. Sometimes it's just better to just shut your mouth and stay quiet for a while so that you don't mess up this favorite piece. A lot of men experience lack in their lives because they're tearing down the very tool or the very instrument that God has given them to bring forth favor increase into their life. I understand what she brings to me. Let me tell you something. I've experienced favor like nobody's business. There were things that I experienced that were designed to tear me down, but because I won't tear down what's been given to me to build me up, those things that were designed to tear me down aren't effective. That's why the word says, no weapon formed. Listen, they're going to form. Things are going to come at you. You're going to experience some things, but it said they will not prosper. So those very things that were designed to come up against me, that were designed to come and destroy me, they couldn't prosper because of my favorite piece. My favorite piece stepped in when I couldn't step in. My favorite piece stepped in when I didn't know what to do. My favorite piece stepped in when I felt like giving up. And because of that favorite piece, what I really wanted to happen turned out just in my favor. And so, again, you never experience the favor that you were intended to experience without first understanding that what your wife brings to the table, that relationship, that marriage. And so that was a nugget for the men. I hope you really take that in, because I'm telling you something. It's powerful. It's phenomenal. We're living proof that it's so. And so what's the next one, sweet?
Words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation. Words can also be your damnation.
And that's Matthew 12:37. That's the Message version. And so read that one more time.
Words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation. Words can also be your damnation.
And so that's something to really understand. You don't have time to waste words. We're talking about how to get what you want by what you say. You don't have time to waste words. You don't have time to get mad and waste your words because you can't control your anger. Well, let me say this. You can control your anger because your response is
your responsibility.
Your response is your responsibility. And so in order to get what you want, you got to understand that words are powerful. You got to take your words seriously. If you constantly telling each other that you stupid, you dumb, you ignorant, you this, you that, because some things we not going to say, but you know what you've been saying. If you're constantly saying those things, guess what? You're not taking your words seriously. Because if you took your words seriously, now, this is the product of my intelligent choice. So if this is the product of my intelligent choice, and she do something that I think may not be quite as intelligent as I would like it to be, and I'm constantly calling her dumb and stupid, then guess what? That's what I'm producing. I'm producing dumb and stupid. You like that, dude? I'm producing dumb and stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk about this all the time. You're producing dumb and stupid because you're not taking your words seriously. If you always get upset, I can't stand you. I don't know why I married you. Guess what? This is what you're dealing with. You're not taking those words seriously, but you don't understand that there's a fruit attached to what you just said. When you say, I don't know why I married you, then guess what you just did? You just planted that seed in your own heart. You planted that seed in your own spirit. Now your life is producing what you just said. Now every day you walking around, I don't even know why I married him. I don't even know why I married her. I don't know why I married him. I don't know why I'm doing this. And you produce exactly what it is you've been saying. Yep. So again, it says words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation, which means they can be your deliverance. They can be your healing. They can be your joy. They can be your peace. They can be your comfort. They can be all of the above, or words can be your damnation. They can be your demise. And we've seen over 20 years, we've seen many people in this blended family dynamic die in this dynamic because they didn't know what to say out of their mouths. Mm-hmm. They didn't take their words seriously. They didn't understand the power that was attached to what it was they were saying. And listen, the things that we're sharing, you can apply to every area of your life.
Right.
You can apply it to every area of your life. We're just specifically talking about blended families because we're in the blender. And so it's important to understand, as a blended family, you're going to be bombarded by so many different things because guess what? There are a lot of different systems coming together. Mm-hmm. You know, my wife was used to doing things for years a particular way. For about, what, 10 years almost?
Yeah.
Almost 10 years, she was used to operating a certain way. I was used to operating a certain way. And so when we came together, we had to learn how to bring those systems together. We had to learn how to compromise because there's going to be some compromise in blending. Because it can't always be your way. That was a mistake I was making early on because it was my way or the highway. But when I learned and I got an understanding that, because on all our getting, we supposed to get what? Understanding. Once I got understanding that the things that I was doing wasn't beneficial, they weren't productive, then I began to really put the tools that I was getting together, properly assessing things, and then growing thereby. And so, words are powerful. Take them seriously. They can be your salvation, or they can be your damnation. Now we're going to pick up where we left off last week.
Okay. No one can make you say anything. You only speak what's abundantly residing in your heart.
Say that one again.
No one can make you say anything. You only speak what's abundantly residing in your heart. And Luke 6:45.
Luke 6:45, write that down. No one can make you say anything. She can't make me say a word.
She might. That's what we say though.
Yeah.
When we say what we want to say.
Yeah.
We say, oh, you made me say that.
You did make me say that.
You made me do that.
You did make me do that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Forgetting that your response is your responsibility. And so nobody can make you say anything. I don't care how upset you get. Nobody can make, your children can't make you say anything. Your spouse can't make you say, nobody can make you say anything. It's important to understand that guess what? When you say that, that's what's really in your heart. You know how you hear people say stuff and then they say, I was just joking? No, they wasn't.
Most of the time they meant it.
No, they really meant it. Because it was in their heart. If it just flows out of their mouth real smooth and real quickly, guess what? They really meant that thing. And so that's why you got to judge your heart. You got to judge what you put in there. You got to judge what you're feeding your heart. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you're putting junk in your heart, then guess what's going to come out of it? Junk. Junk going to come out your mouth. That's why even sometimes you gotta be careful what you watch. Everything on TV not beneficial, is not helpful to you. Everything you read and listen to is not beneficial or helpful to you. Even some people you talk to aren't beneficial and helpful to you. You married and all your friends single, guess what's going to happen? Something going to come out your heart that wasn't even supposed to be there. Let me say that again. You married and all your friends single, guess what? They don't understand going home. They don't understand honoring your husband, honoring your wife. They don't understand and loving your children. They don't understand that. They understand me, myself, and I. Why we can't hang out, why we can't do this. You know, it's just a conversation. No, it's not just a conversation. Because that conversation can lead to bigger things. And so you have to be careful and understand that no one can make you say anything because you only speak what's abundantly residing. Abundantly residing. That means that thing is living there big. It's living big. And so it's abundantly residing in your heart. And that's what you're going to speak out of your mouth. What was the next point, sweet?
The wise woman builds her house on a foundation of godly precepts, and her household thrives. But the foolish one who lacks spiritual insight tears it down with her own hands, words, by ignoring godly principles.
Read that again.
The wise woman builds her house on a foundation of godly precepts, and her household thrives.
Stop there. A wise woman builds her house. How do you build your house? By what you say. Let me tell you something. The quickest way to get a man to do what you want him to do is to learn how to say the right things. If you don't understand that principle alone, it's going to be a long journey for you. If you don't understand that principle alone, it's going to be tough. A lot of successful women in marriage, whether it's blended family, whether it's the original marriage, they understand how to build their house. Men thrive off of compliments. We thrive off of you the man, you the one, you're this. Even when we don't feel that way, if our wives tell us that, guess what? I don't care what we're dealing with. I don't care what we're facing. I don't care how bleak things seem. When your wife is saying you the one, when your wife is saying you're the hero, you the one make these things work, you the one can get together. Let me tell you something. Men start creating stuff. You think you got a man that's not creative? Start building him up. Start encouraging him. Start telling him what he can do, who he is in your sight. Even if he's not all the way there in your sight, still say it. Because watch this. You're working on something. You're ultimately building what it is you really want. And in order to get that, out of that man, you're going to have to learn how to speak what you want. So it says, a wise woman builds her house on a foundation of godly precepts, and her household thrives. You looking to thrive? Look at what you're saying. What's the second part?
But the foolish one who lacks spiritual insight tears it down.
Stop. The foolish one who lacks spiritual insight. That's big. Because you can't get spiritual insight by watching Power. That's Michelle.
Empire.
You can't get spiritual insight by watching Empire. You can't get spiritual insight by watching The Housewives. You're not getting spiritual insight right there. Because what they're doing is contradictory to what you want.
Yep.
Their life is contradictory to what you're looking for in life. And so in order to get spiritual insight, you got to operate in spiritual things. So it says, but the foolish one who lacks spiritual insight does what?
Tears it down with her own hands, words.
Stop. When it say her hands, it's literally saying her words. Not her physical hands, but her words. Because your words have power to either build or to tear down.
Yep.
It's just like, you remember back in the day when you were dating, or, you know, even before you kind of mature in relationship, and you would say something, especially us men, we'll just haul off out the mouth and say something dumb out our mouth to our wives, and all of a sudden, boom, that wall will build up. She didn't put that wall together with her hands. That wall was actually built with your words. And so understand something. The same way your words built a wall, the same way her words can build walls too. I told you I had nuggets for the men. I got nuggets for the women. And so it says, but the foolish one who lacks spiritual insight tears it down with her own hands, her words.
By ignoring godly principles.
By ignoring. Because there's some people that's going to watch this, they're going to watch In the Blender, and they're going to ignore what I just said. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to continue not experience the joy, the peace, the love that you was intended to experience in your blended family. You're gonna continue to not experience those things. Why? Because you're not walking wisely, you're walking foolishly. And so we want to encourage you guys to listen. I'm excited. Oh my God, time is flying. We're so excited to be sharing with you guys these principles of how to get what you want by what you say. Let me tell you something. This is work. I made a note the other day. This one right here takes work. It takes work to get your mouth to the place under control. It takes work because many of us used to just fall, just hollering off at the mouth saying whatever. But when you want what you want, it's like this. I remember my wife and I, we laugh about this. We didn't laugh early on about it, but we laugh about this now. That, there was with my son's mother. I wouldn't argue with this chick to save my life. I don't care what she said or what she did. I just went, watch this. I wouldn't give her that power. But I didn't exercise that same thing with my own wife. I exercised it with her, but I wouldn't exercise that with my wife. So when I learned that, you know what, I can get more out of this thing if I just learn how to exercise the same thing I'm doing over here, exercise it over here, then I start experiencing better. But watch this. It didn't happen until I got that understanding. And so, oh man, we listen real quickly because we're almost out of time, but we're never out of message. We've been sharing with you guys some of the tools that we've been using. So this right here, we're going to give another copy again. This is by Dr. Michael Freeman. This is our pastor. It's called During the Storm.
And we're not giving it, we're sowing.
We're sowing this into lives.
Difference.
We're sowing it. And so we're going to sow this into one of our viewers. And
I don't know how to pick. You pick something.
We're going to sow this to one of our viewers. And this one right here is going to go. Oh, you know what? I got this one. This one right here, I'm gonna come back to this one.
Slide that over, yeah.
But this right here, oh my God, hold that, sweetheart. This is called focus. All of us need focus. This is by
this was good.
Yes, this is by our pastor, Dr. Dolores Freeman, Dr. Dee. I tell you, an awesome woman of God. She's talking about focus. Listen, if you want to be blessed in your blended family, in your business, in your marriage, with your children, whatever you're doing, you need focus.
And Dr. Dee is a super example of how to get what you want by what you say.
Listen, this is one of the principles out of this book. It says, identify the faith troop in their roles. There are going to be some people, I'm just giving you a little piece of it. There's some people that's in your life you have to identify. You actually have to identify everybody. But there's a specific group of people in your life that you have to identify as your spiritual war partners.
Right.
And each of them plays a specific role in that war. And so, when you get to this part, it's going to blow your mind.
Awesome.
But we want to sow this in. This one right here, sweetheart, this is going to Ebony Stewart. We want to sow this in the Ebony Stewart. And I tell you, it's going to be phenomenal. Listen, in order to get this, you have 1 week, right?
Yeah, up until
the next
week's broadcast.
So listen, Ebony's going to get that book, and then Roy Payne is going to get During the Storm.
Okay.
So Roy Payne, you'll get During the Storm. But this is the only way you guys are going to be able to get this. You're going to have to email us how?
At weareablendedfamily@gmail.com.
Give them that one more time.
weareablendedfamily@gmail.com.
Listen, Roy, Ebony, these are powerful tools. Make sure that you email us with your contact information, and we'll make sure we get that seed to you guys. Listen, we love you guys. We thank you. We're right there at the cusp of where we want to be at. So until next time, also remember, we love you guys.
Yes, love
We
y'all.
love you.
Thank y'all for tuning in weekly with us.
Yes. It's just been phenomenal. It's been a blessing. Yes, we love you too. And so, until next week, God bless.
Bye, guys.